They say you have a monster here. They say your lands are cursed.
There have been many brave men who have come. But in the morning, there was nothing left but blood on the floor and the walls.
I am Beowulf. I will kill your monster. Tonight will be different. I am Ripper, Terror, Slasher. I am the teeth in the darkness. Mine is strength and lust and power. I am Beowulf.
Premise. It was a dark time in the devastating fall. The land of present-day England would cease its bloodshed from the conquest of the Romans to the Germanic tribes to the Vikings. The people of the British Isle and is being battered. They needed a hero, someone who represents strength, decency, and bravery. So came the sword of Beowulf. In stark contrast to his good is the enemy Grendel, the incarnation of pure evil. He is an enemy of the people, and according to the text, even an enemy of God. Grendel is a destructive and murderous creature that is completely opposed to all that is good. From certain passages, we can see that the writers or editors of Beowulf intended to draw a religious parallel between these two characters of Beowulf and Grendel, the religious ones. The premise of good versus evil is quite easy to surmise. The writers intended to use the Bible to elevate the tone of the story to a more spiritual than natural one. There are a few passages that can be seen in. The first is passages describing Grendel and his being. The second is the dialogue from the Danes and Beowulf. Settings. The funeral leads to the introduction of the hero, Beowulf in his confrontation with the first monster Grendel. This passage begins by describing Sid's glory as a scourge of many tribes, a wrecker of mead benches. Sid's glory and importance is shown by the prestigious death he obtained through his service as the king of the Danes. His importance is proven once more by the grand funeral given to him by his people. His people, funeral at sea with many weapons and treasures, shown was he as a great soldier and an even greater leader to his people. The poet introduced the concept of the heroic society through Sids. The possession bearing with the king are elaborately described to emphasize the importance of such items. The importance of these earthly possessions are then used to establish the dead king's greatness in respect to the treasure. Sid's funeral helps the poet to elaborate on the glory of battle in a heroic society and how earthly possessions help define a person's importance. This funeral also helps the poet to develop the plot to lead into the confrontation between the protagonist Beowulf and the main antagonist Grendel.
Plot. King Rodgar of Denmark, a descendant of the great King Shilshef's son, enjoys a prosperous and successful reign. He builds a great mead hall called Heorot, where his warriors can gather to drink, receive gifts from their lord, and listen to stories sung by the Scouts, or bards. But the jubilant noise from Heorot angers Grendel, a horrible demon who lives in the swamplands of Hrothgar's kingdom. Grendel terrorizes the Danes every night, killing them and defeating their efforts to fight back. The Danes suffer many years of fear, danger, and death. at the ends of Grendel. Eventually, however, a young greatest warrior named Beowulf hears of Hrothgar's plight. Inspired by the challenge, Beowulf sails to Denmark with a small company of men, determined to defeat Grendel.
Theme. Over the course of the poem, Beowulf matures from a brilliant combatant into a wise leader. His transitions demonstrates that a differing set of values accompanies each of his two roles. The difference between these two sets of values manifests itself early on to the outlook of Beowulf and King Hrothgar, whereas the youthful Beowulf, having nothing to lose, desires personal glory. The aged Hrothgar, having much to lose, seeks protection for his people. Though these two outlooks are somewhat oppositional, each character acts as society dictates he should given his particular role in society. Beowulf's own tenure as king elaborates on many of the same points. His transition from warrior to king, and in particular his final battle with the dragon, rehash the dichotomy between the duties of a heroic warrior and those of a heroic king.